the middle class, the humble part of the middle class, but the middle class because of manufacturing, because of the Morrill Land Grant Act that was founded for the industrial classes. And a logical extension of the Morrill Land Grant Act was the community college movement, which is now really taking the lead to help the industrial classes. And I want to just say thanks to the legislators who are here. Tony, you'll be on the panel, but especially my compatriot in Bridgeport, Steve Stastrom. He's just hit the ground running. And there's a lot of rhetoric in the Capitol, but if you want to have performance, you got to go to somebody like Steve, because he's really produced for the city. The city just had one of its most successful years in the legislature. We're planning a second train station. We've gotten money for the thermal loop, which will provide low-cost energy and clean energy to manufacturers and other buildings in the city. So, Steve, thank you for being here. Give him a round of applause. You'll applaud for Tony later. I know you'll applaud for Tony later when he's on the panel. I'm here because of manufacturing. My dad worked at Bullard's most of his career, and they made vertical turret lathes. And you know, now all of those lathes that make metal parts are operated by computers, and CNC is the way to go. But in the old days, my dad used a slide rule and had to read blueprints, and the tolerances were maybe a little bit greater. But the skill, the craftsmanship, the dedication, and the love for the job is the same today as it was when my dad was working at Bullard's for 36 years, I think. He used to get a ring for 1 year, for 20 years, and a watch for 30, and I remember how proud he was when he would bring those home and show us. The pictures on the wall, I think, tell an incredible story, because when our country was faced with its most difficult economic challenge, the President created something to celebrate that which we needed more of, to celebrate the manufacturing production process, and to celebrate labor. American labor, American inventiveness, American creativity. And they hired artists to go into the factories and chronicle the prowess of the product of our creativity. Think about what was created in the Fertile Crescent, as I call it, of Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven. Airplanes were invented. Helicopters were invented. Sewing machines were invented. Submarines were invented and manufactured. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Abraham Lincoln would not have won the Civil War, perhaps, without clothing for his men. And well, there were no women, sorry, ladies. And most of that was produced on sewing machines invented here in the city of Bridgeport. How history can be changed by manufacturing, inventiveness, and creativity. So now we have a similar challenge. The Great Depression of the 30s was followed by the Great Recession of 2008. And what did cities do? Cities began to reinvent themselves. We created an eco-technology park to capitalize on that same creativity and passion for inventiveness that exists in that Fertile Crescent of Waterbury, Bridgeport, and New Haven. Maybe it was because of the water power originally, but it's ingrained in our DNA now. It's ingrained in the DNA of every little boy who grew up with his father talking about what he made that day, and then going to the basement to tinker and make things again. It's just an amazing thing that's part of us. It's why Kathy Saint goes to work every day and makes pins like this. Our Bee Green pin is made by Swirl Stamp. And I don't really understand the whole process, but when I watch it, any human being would be fascinated. So now we've got an eco-tech park. We have a different emphasis on commercial and housing than we've had in the past. But the point I want to make here is to tie in advanced manufacturing to the streets of Bridgeport. These skills are required to get us out of cooking the planet, out of the climate change debacle that we're in right now. And every single thing we do to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions creates employment in the United States. The brackets that hold solar panels on the rooftop are made on a CNC machine somewhere, probably in Connecticut, in a small shop. The aluminum that holds the solar panel together, the jobs that are created by the guy who climbs up on the roof and drills the holes and wires the solar panels, the men and women that will be digging the trench from the trash-to-energy plant to take the waste energy that's at the trash-to-energy plant and we're not going to use the word waste anymore because now it's a resource. Everything that was a waste is now a resource that needs to be processed with manufacturing to create new products. And this will be the things that people paint pictures about the next time that we need to celebrate the manufacturing that's here. So it's an exciting time for Bridgeport because we are repurposing and repurposing properties and reinventing the way we look at ourselves, and it's all because of manufacturing. Manufacturing got us here, manufacturing will get us into the future, and manufacturing will continue to put the meat on the tables, pay the car taxes, pay the rent, pay the tuition to Housatonic Community College, and just keep our economy moving. We can't take it out of our DNA. It's in there already. It's bursting to get out. And the Hall of Fame, I think, will be a way for us to continue to celebrate it and paint those pictures of the wonderful, wonderful things that manufacturing creates in our lives and the lives that it gives us. Thanks.